Hi everyone, welcome to Module 3, Session 3 entitled The Entrepreneur Tracking Key Resources. By the way, this is Miles Mortgages Up and I will be your professor in Entrepreneurial Mind subject. So before we proceed to our proper discussion, let me tell you the objective of this session. What will we learn? At the end of this session, you will have achieved the following. First, understood how to keep records of business transaction. Second, calculate the price of the product or services. Third, know how to prepare profit and loss statement and balance sheet. And also the last one, which is to understand the importance of keeping records of the money amounts that come in and go out in vital to control the profitability of the business. Pricing determines directly in our income and thus our profit. Income and expenditures determine the profit we make in our business, and profit is one of the ultimate reason for operating our business. And last is to balance. A balance sheet provides information on the financial position of your business. So dito, ito po yung magiging coverage ng session 3 natin. So wherein we will give you, or I will give you knowledge about on how to prepare an income statement or a financial position for your business, or also known as the balance sheet. So for the first topic natin sa session 3 natin, we have the introduction to bookkeeping. So what is bookkeeping? So when we say bookkeeping, it is the keeping records of what we bought, sold, owed, and owned. Okay, so ito po yung mga pag-record natin sa isang organization, sa isang negosyo, or sa isang company, kung ano yung binili natin, ano yung pinabili natin, ano yung utang natin, at kung anong meron tayo. Okay? So, ang bookkeeping daw po is a record or a keeping records of the money in, the money out, and what is left. So, ito po yung pagpasok ng pera sa isang negosyo, the money outflow and income outflow ng isang organization or ng isang business. So, ano ba yung magkano ba yung perang pumapasok sa isang organization or sa isang negosyo? At of course, kung ilan din yung nilalabas natin na pera every time na magpo-produce tayo ng goods or every time na gawa tayo ng service for the customer or for the client. So, of course, what is left from our money. Okay, so magkano ba yung natira natin na pera, then of course you need to record it so that alam natin kung saan napupunta yung pera sa isang negosyo. So why an entrepreneur should keep books? So when we say books, ito po yung mga transaction na nagyari sa isang organization po. Okay, so wag pong malito. So entrepreneurs should keep books to monitor the progress of your business. So ano ba yung nangyayari sa isang organization? So you need to determine kung kamusta yung organization or kung kamusta yung progress ng isang negosyo. So through inflow or outflow of the money, we can determine kung ano ba yung takbo ng isang organization. So, kamusta ba yung sales na nakuha ko ngayong araw or sa kahapon or yung mga last month? Okay, so dito, through monitoring the progress of the business, we can determine kung ang negosyo natin is fast growing or slow growing. Okay, so next, identify source of receipt. So, sino ba yung bumili ng produkto at serbisyo ng negosyo natin? Okay, so what kind of product or services yung malaking nagdadala ng malaking kita sa atin? Okay, so you need to identify the sources of receipts. Next is to keep track of expenses. So, saan ba natin expend yung money ng isang organization or ng isang negosyo? Okay? Next is to prepare your financial statement. So, sabi ko, di ba last time, you need to determine or you need to produce a financial statement for every business that you have. So, once you build your own business, make sure po na you have financial statement wherein you can record the sales and expenses of your business. Okay, next is the tax assessment. So dito, through keeping the books of the business, we can assure na may naku-contribute tayo ng malaking pera para sa society or para sa government. Okay, so next is to facilitate credit transaction. So pwede ba tayo bumili ng isang produkto or ng isang serbisyo through credit? Or pwede ba as a business perspective, pwede ba natin yung produkto at serbisyo natin, ipabili natin or ipautang natin sa isang customer or client? So, that's the reason why entrepreneurs should keep books to their businesses. Okay? So next, we proceed to the next lesson, which is the commonly used documents. So ano naman to? So the following documents are commonly used in business transactions. So the details from these documents like document number, the date, time, amount, etc. and recorded in a book. So dito sa topic na to is we will mag-introduce tayo ng pahapyaw or konting accounting. Okay, so usually mga business the business course related yung nagkakaroon ng idea kung ano nga ba yung mga documents na needed ng isang organization or ng isang company. So now, I will teach you kung ano ba yung usually or common documents sa isang organization or sa isang companies. First, we have the receipt. Next is the invoices. We have the payment slips, the checks, the purpose orders, the delivery notes, and the bank slips. So yung receipt po, ito po yung mga resibo na binibigay natin sa isang customer or sa isang clients. Next is the invoices. So ito po yung mga the update documents na binibigay natin sa mga clients or sa mga debtors. Okay, yung mga utang sa atin. So we need to update then kung magkano ba yung dapat nilang bayaran, kung ilan na ba yung nabayaran nila sa utang nila. Next is the payment slip. So every time na may bibili ng produkto natin, of course, we need to give them a payment slips. Okay, so next, the checks. Okay, yung cheque po. Next is the purchase order. So every time na may ipo-purchase tayo ng produkto sa suppliers natin, we need to have purchase orders. So next, we have the delivery notes and also the bank slips. So to properly record your transaction in the book, you must first collect all documents, which is the receipt, invoice, and etc. for every transaction. So take note lang, class, na you cannot tell a transaction without a number. Okay? So every time po na gagawa kayo ng balance sheet or mag-journal na kayo, you need to have a receipt or invoices as evident na ganito yung nangyari sa transaction na to. Okay? So you need to collect all the documents. Next, if you don't get any receipts or invoices for after the transaction, you must have list of item purchase indicating the date, items, and amount. So these serve as the document for purchases. So kapag wala po kayo nakuha na receipts or invoice for every transaction, you must do a list for the item that you purchase. So kasama na po doon yung date, yung items, and yung amount ng produkto or serbisyo. Okay, so it will serve as a document for your purchase. Then you can record it to your balance sheet or to your journal or ledger. Next is separate. So separate the kinds of document where possible for easy access. For example, folder for receipts and folder B for the purchase order. So dapat hindi tayo masyadong malito. Okay? So as you can see, kapag masyadong halo-halo yung mga books natin, yung mga transaction natin such as the receipt or the invoices, there's a chance na malito tayo at malagay natin yung receipt na yon sa ibang category ng isang business. Okay? So you need to make a folder na kung saan it will be easy for us, it will be easy for the accountant or for the owner of the business na malaman kung anong nangyari sa transaction na yon. Next is place or pile them in a chronological order. So a good practice is to arrange alphabetically document from on by date. So usually po pag sa accounting, by the way, lagi itong ginagawa, if you will put a transaction, make sure po na chronological order po siya. Kung kailan po yung nangyari yung transaction, dapat pasunod-sunod. For example, ngayong May 1, nagkaroon ng first transaction ngayong May. After that, nagkaroon ng May 3, May 5, May 6. So dapat pag-record natin ng books is May 1, May 3, 5, and 6. Hindi po yung May 5, sunod yung May 6, sunod yung May 1, and May 3. So mali po ganon. Okay? Next is do not leave loose documents lying around. So please, yung mga receipts natin, yung mga documents na meron tayo, na meron naka-indicate doon yung transaction natin, please do not leave it or barag-baragon. Okay? Kung sa Bicol, dahil po pag barag-baragon, kaya importante po yon. Okay? So we need to have them in a safe place so that if we will check the balance sheet or the financial statement is may mabibigay tayong supporting details. Okay? Next is keep all your documents in secure place by filing in a cabinet. So para maging magkaroon ng safe na lalagyan yung documents natin sa every transaction, we can have a cabinet na kung saan hindi siya madaling makita ng mga bata or hindi siya madaling makita ng mga tao that they can erase the transaction or they can get the transaction without knowing by the accountant. So make sure po na secure yung place sa tubig, sa apoy, sa hangin, or kung kanino man. Okay? So keep key separate books. To start recording your transaction, you should have the 5 hardcover books with the following label. First, you need to have a cash book. Next, we have the debtor books. Next, we have the creditor book. We also have the inventory book. And last, we have the income and expenses book. Okay, so dapat may ganyan po kayo or separate yung book na gagamitin nyo sa kada transaction na ito. Okay? So, key action principles. So, separate business from your private transaction. So, pinaulit-ulit ko na to sa inyo na ang pera ng isang negosyo ay hindi pera mo. Ito ay para sa negosyo. Okay? If you will use the money of your business from your private transaction, then it's your loss. Okay? So malulugi lang po dito yung negosyo na meron kayo. So that we can determine the business profit, first we need to remember that the owner and the business are two separate entities. Okay? Tandaan po yan. Ang pera ng negosyo ay para sa negosyo. Ang pera mo ay para sa iyo. Next, separate private transaction. So like paying fees, buying food, or for home use, and etc. So you need to separate your private transaction from the business. So kung hindi naman to para sa negosyo, So, wag mong gamitin yung pera ng negosyo. Next, pay yourself as salary. This enables you to cater for your private transaction. So, ito po yung pinakamagandang gagawin ng isang entrepreneur is that para magkaroon tayo or para mabili din natin yung private needs natin, of course, we need to pay ourselves or we need to have a salary from the business that we have. Okay, so hindi yung kukuha tayo ng pera sa negosyo at ang malulugi lang naman doon is tayo. Next is receipts from using business money for your private transaction. So yan, iwasan po ang paggamit ng business money for your private transaction. Okay, so that is the key action principle, which is to separate business from your private transaction. So let's proceed to the next topic, which is the cash book. So when we say cash book, this is the book in which you will record all the cash money that comes in and goes out. So it will help you to answer the following question. So again, yung cash book po natin, dito po natin i-record yung mga transaction when it comes to cash or when it comes to cash money. Okay? So kung ilan ba yung pera na pumapasok sa isang negosyo at kung magkano yung pera na nilalabas ng negosyo. Okay? So ito yung mga question na kung saan we can determine that this is a cash book. First, how much were my receipt this day, week, month, or year? So yan yung pasok ng pera sa atin. Okay? Ilan ba yung nakuha natin na sale from the customer or from the clients? Next, how much were my payments this week, month, or year? So ito naman is yung money goes out. So ilan ba yung binayaran ni business sa mga transaction niya? Okay, so next is how much cash do I have in hand this day, week, month, or year? Ilan naman yung pera na natira from the payment? Okay, and ilan yung money on hand natin? Okay, it will serve as our day-to-day money. Okay, na kung saan it will help us na bumili ng mga produkto or mga supply from the suppliers. Next is which month posted higher receipts and which month posted higher payments. So ito po yung cash book, and this question will help you to determine if it is in the right transaction, which is the cash book. So in cash book, record transaction that is received or paid in cash only. Tandaan po, hindi po natin pwedeng ilagay sa cash book yung transaction kapag hindi po siya cash na ibinigay sa atin. Okay? Kung binigay sa atin is materials, then hindi pwede ilagay sa cash book. Kasi tandaan, ang cash book is para lang sa pera na pumasok at lumabas sa isang negosyo. So ito po yung example ng format ng isang cash book. So take a look of the cash book format. It captures the date, details, and amount received of the business transaction. So we have the money in and we have the money out. So dito, to hinati sa dalawa, which is the money in and money out. So ilan ba? Meron tayong date, the details, and the amount receive. We also have sa money out, we have the date, details, and amount paid. So let's proceed sa credit transaction. What problem would you encounter when you sell on credit? So ano yung mga problema na makukuha natin o ma-experience natin once we sell our product or services on account or on credit? Ibig sabihin, pinautang. Okay? So, what would you buy on credit? Ano ba yung bibilhin mo when it comes na pwede umutang sa isang negosyo or pwede umutang sa isang entity? Next is what problem would you encounter when you buy on credit? So, ano ba yung mga problema na papasok sa atin or ma-experience natin once you buy on credit. Okay? Next is how could you keep track your debt? So, paano natin matatrack or malalaman yung mga utang na meron tayo? And in buying or selling on credit means you obtain the item now but you don't need to pay in cash right now. So, yan po yung ibig sabihin po ng credit. For example, you already buy the product or the service from the business but wala ka pa pang bayad doon sa kinuha mong product or service from the business, then it will serve as a credit to you. Okay? So you need to pay those debts that you are the money that you borrow from the business. Okay? So it's your obligation to pay back from the creditor. Okay? So that is the credit means. So let's proceed in selling on credit. So always transact on cash basis to avoid complication of collecting debt. So, but if you have to sell on credit, keep the following rules. So first, only sell on credit to regular customer who you are will pay you back on time. So last time na pag natin discuss, di ba sabi ko, you need to make sure or you need to check the background of your new customer or your customer before you give them a product or before you give them a money. Okay? So, make sure po na yung papautangin mo is yung customer or yung client na babayaran ka on the right time. Okay? Next, demand a deposit. So every time na magbibigay sila ng pera or magpipay sa iyo ng utang nila, please demand a deposit. Okay? So they need to give first at least 20% na payment before for your product or for your service before they give a credit. Okay, so next, keep record of the people to whom you sell on credit. Of course, you need to record them. Okay, you need to record all the people who borrowed money or who get product or services from you without paying first. Okay. Next is always keep sufficient cash money to buy new stuff. Yan yung importante, class. Huwag ubusin yung pera sa pagpapautang. Okay? You need to keep a cash money to give or to buy new stock or to buy new raw materials so that you can produce again a product or you can produce again a finished product. Okay, so that is selling on credit. So from the debtor's book naman, this book is used to record the sales on credit. Okay, again, this book is used to record the sale on credit. So ito yung mga transaction na kung saan ilalagay po natin yung mga utang or yung may mga utang sa isang negosyo. Okay? Kaya tinawag siyang record the sales on credit. So mga utang lang ang ilalagay natin dito sa book na to. So the key points. Get book labeled as debtor book. So you need, if you will make a book, please label it as a debtor book. Okay, so allocate the page to individual debtors. Record all your credit sales, credit sale immediately. So every time na may magbaborrow ng money sa'yo or may nag-credit or may kumuha ng product or service, make sure po na i-record agad yung kinuha nila. Okay? So after that, you compute the credit sales on a daily basis. So please, sa perspective po ng isang negosyante or ng entrepreneur, mas okay po na mag-collect ng pera every day. Okay? So it's not it's a good thing na mag-collect po tayo ng pera from the debtors sa mga inutang nila sa atin. So you need to credit or to total the credit sales every day. Next, give the debtors defined and clear credit terms. So sabi natin before we proceed or to build our own business, we need to make sure na meron po tayong credit policy. So you tell them kung ano yung policy na yon. Next is keep checking the debtor figure weekly and monthly. So kung maghihingi po ng invoices, yung mga debtors po natin, it will be easy for us to tell them kung nag-check tayo kung magkano na yung total na nabayaran nila or yung dapat nilang bayaran. Okay? So next is follow up the debtor promptly. So always check them. Always check the debtor kung kamusta sila, kung kailan sila magbabayad, kung uutang pa ulit sila or and etc. So that is the debtor books. Next, this is the example of debtor's book format. So the customer's name, okay, make sure po andyan po yung clear po yung pagkasulat ng yung customer or yung debtor. So we have the date, the details, the quantity, the amount sold on credit, the amount received, the balance, and size. So complete na po yan. It will be easy for you as a businessman or as an entrepreneur to have a credit on sale. Okay? So let's proceed sa buying on credit. So kanina selling on credit, ngayon naman buying on credit. So buying on credit may help you in your business in the following cases. So ito, tayo naman yung uutang sa ibang entity para sa negosyo natin. Okay? So first, you need to buy stock in a season when it is cheap like fish and cassava. So it will help us. So every time na nawawala na tayo ng stock or ng raw materials or ng inventories, we need to buy a stock in a season wherein yung raw materials na yon is mura. Okay? So for example, yung cassava, every seasonal siya. So kailan ba mura yung cassava or yung fish? So that time, bumili na tayo ng maramihang stock. Okay? So you need to preserve and store it and sell it when the price are high. So ganyan po minsan ng isang negosyante. So once you buy a bulk of raw materials, then you preserve it. Then after the season, so hindi na siya seasonal, you can sell it with a higher price. So it's up to you kung good ba to or hindi. Next is to enable you to buy cheaper in bulk like raw materials. So you need to buy in bulk, okay, or maramihan, kung sa Tagalog, para maiwasan natin yung malalaking presyo. Kasi minsan, kapag madami tayong binibili na raw materials, minsan binibigyan tayo ng less, okay? Binibigyan tayo ng discount ng supplier natin. Next, to cover seasonal high expense like fuel. So, make sure po na you need to have a stock or inventory before pa tumaas yung season or tumaas yung presyo ng mga ginagamit nating raw materials. Okay? So we proceed now sa creditor's book. Okay? So use the creditor's book to record all the credit purchases or occurred expenses. So how? So ito naman yung mga transaction na kung saan tayo yung umutang sa isang or sa ibang companies or sa isang supplier. Okay? So ito yun yung book na yun. Okay? So how? This is the key points. First, get the book labeled as a creditor book. Next, allocate the page to individual creditor. And next, record all your credit purchases and other expenses immediately. So, dapat hindi lang yung inutangan natin yung may record. Dapat tayo din na umuutang is may record din kung ano yung mga purchases na ginawa natin or inutang natin. Okay? Next is compute total credit purchase and other expenses. So after natin ma-record lahat ng inutang natin, we need to compute the total credit purchases in a daily basis. So everyday din tayo dapat mag-compute. Next, keep checking the creditor's figure weekly or monthly to assure that they are maintained at a low level as a possible. So ito po yung example ng creditor book format. So you have the supplier's name, okay? Supplier's name or the creditor's name, yung nagpautang sa atin. Again, so we have the date, the details, the quantity, the amount sold on credit, the amount paid, but we also have the balance and the sign. So ganun kasimple lang. So we proceed na sa product and service costing. So how do we cost the product and service that we have in our business? So how do you determine the cost of your goods or service? Paano ka magbibigay ng presyo para sa produkto at serbisyo mo? So ano yung mga ginagawa mo or way mo sa pag-put ng price ng product and services? Why do you need to determine the cost of goods and services? Bakit mo kailangan? Ano ba yung connection ng pag-cost natin or pag-costing natin ng produkto at serbisyo sa negosyo mo? Ano nga ba? So to effectively cost your product, you should first list the component that make up your product. So you need to write all the raw materials that you buy from the supplier. Okay? You need to write all the materials that you use in producing the goods and services. So attach the cost to them. So after you make a list, lagyan po kung magkano yung materials na yon. After that, you need to identify the other cost elements such as the transport, the taxes, and etc. So after you identify the other cost element, you also write the cost of each element. Okay? Then we have aggregate all the costs involved in having a ready-to-sell product and services. So you need to determine your markup. Okay? So magkano ba yung markup na ilalagay ko sa kada produkto na develop ko or na produce ko. So yan yung po yung dapat na gagawin. So once you already get your total markup, it will serve as your profit for your business. So we have the variable cost and the fixed cost. So there are two types of costs, variable and fixed. When we say variable cost, it is the company cost which vary with the volume of production. While yung fixed cost naman, it is the company cost which do not vary with the volume of production. It remains the same regardless of whether goods or services are produced or not. So if to be clear, para maging klaro sa inyo, I have example here. So assuming the lemonade stand incurred the following costs. A, 2,500 pesos for the 500 bottles. B, 2,500 pesos for the 100 kilos of lemonade, which you can make a 500 lemonade juices. Okay? C, overhead costs per month such as rent, salaries, telephone with a total amount of 5,000 pesos. So the item A and item B are variable costs, while yung C naman po is our overhead costs are fixed costs. Okay, so the total cost is equal to 100 pesos, which is the item A, B, and C. So bakit po nasabi na yung item A and B is variable cost? So ito po sinabing variable cost siya because it is the vary with the total volume of the production. So connect po siya sa production ng isang business. Okay? So, ilan ba yung cost na makukuha natin kung ganito yung bibilihin natin ng raw materials. Kung ganitong number ng raw materials ang bibilihin natin. While yung overhead cost naman natin, it will serve as a fixed cost. Kahit anong gawin natin dyan, kahit na less 500 bottles yung bibilhin natin or less 10 kilo ng lemon yung bibilhin natin, still, ganun pa yung babayaran natin. Kaya tinawag siya na fixed cost. Okay? So, yan po yung variable and fixed cost. So, we proceed sa pricing. How do we price our product and services? So, why pricing is very important in every business. So, to price your product or service, here are the following tips. First, convert only the variable cost into unit cost. So leave the fixed cost. So you need to compute your variable cost into unit cost. Okay, so ilan ba yung nagastos natin? Okay, you need to compute all the things that you buy from all raw materials sa suppliers natin. Okay, so after you compute the unit cost, ito yung yung individual. For example, total na nagastos mo is 1,000 pesos. Okay? Tapos ang na-produce mong product is 10 items or 10 finished products. So divide them. Okay, 1,000 divided by 10 is equal to 100. So 100 po yung unit cost natin. So every one finished product is equivalent to 100 pesos. Okay, so after you compute the unit cost, you put markup for that finished product or for that service. So price is equal to unit cost plus unit cost times markup percentage. So magkano yung percentage na ilalagay mo sa markup? You can make it 50%, you can make it 100%, it can make it 30%. It's up to you. Okay? So for example, so yung unit cost mo is 100, then nag-markup ka ng 50% as your markup. Okay? So yung 100, ilan yung percent ng 50% ng 100 is 50 pesos. So the total amount of your product or your price for your product or services is equal to 150 pesos. So each product or each finished product, you will sell it na worth 150 pesos. Okay? So yung unit cost mo is 100 pesos. Yung markup percentage mo is 50% of the unit cost, and then it will total of 50 pesos. Then you combine it is equal to 150 pesos. Okay, so to set the price, the basic method is the cost-based pricing. In cost-based pricing, marking up is widely used to price a product or services. So ito, using the same example above, so the total variable cost is 5,000 pesos. So to get the unit cost, we have divided it to 500 pesos, which is the total volume of the production. Okay, so yung tulad din sa example kanina. So 5,000 divided by 500, so every bottle of lemonade juice is equivalent to 10 pesos. Okay, so assuming that we want to mark up the product by 50%. So the price of lemonade juice would be 15 pesos. Okay, so ilan yung 50% ng 10 pesos? So 5 pesos. So once you add the 10 pesos and the 5 pesos, we have the total amount of 15 pesos. So the price of bottled lemonade juice is worth 15 pesos. Okay, so that will be all for this session. So I hope you gained something. I hope it will be clear for you on how to put or why pricing is very important for every business or for every company. So if you have any questions, so you can beat me up or you can contact me through my messenger so that I can answer your question about the topic or about the session that we have. Okay, thank you.